Little pig, let me come in.
No, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin.
Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in.
Chapter 1, Little Pig. A graffiti artist named Emily sneaks into an abandoned place with her friend Brian to draw their graffiti. While exploring the place, Emily and Brian find a strange door that seems to lead nowhere. Brian hears a strange noise and goes to investigate, when suddenly he hears Emily scream. When he goes to find her, he realizes that his friend has disappeared, and only the open door remains. Upon approaching, he realizes the door leads to another place where unknown creatures reside. And so it begins. Welcome to Random Recaps. In this video, I'm going to recap the movie. The filmmaker Sam discovers Brian's found footage and shows it to her friend Ash. Sam shows her the video and suggests making a documentary film about Emily's disappearance. Ash, hesitant because the video could be fake, doesn't agree at first, but later she begins to investigate Emily's disappearance, finding her last known address on the Isle of Butte. So Ash decides to go to the island. There, she calls Sam to tell her she agrees to make the film with her and try to find Emily. Chapter 2, The Guy Behind the Camera. The two filmmakers go in search of Brian to interview him about what happened. He tells them he was working on a project with Emily until she disappeared through that door. Brian suggests staying away from that door. Sam asks why. Essentially, Brian says that if something beyond your understanding tells you it's dangerous, you should listen. The filmmakers ignore Brian's warnings and go to the location to retrieve the door and take it to their home. Although skeptical, Sam and Ash leave the door recording overnight to see if anything happens. But nothing happens, for now. Chapter 3, The Other Side. Sam and Ash open the door to see if there's anything, but there's nothing, only a mirror. Although when Ash reaches her hand through, she says it feels weird. When she tries again, Sam's mother appears, even though she isn't with them. They close the door and, upon reopening it, they find a little dog that talks to them.
Greetings, my children. I have taken a form that will not cause you to fear me.
The two are in shock, unable to understand what the heck is happening. Sam is especially traumatized after seeing her mother, as her mother is dead. Ash says that when she touched the mirror, it didn't feel like a mirror, but like another version of herself. The two start brainstorming what they think the door could be. A door to hell, or maybe their subconscious reflected in the door. Or maybe the key to the multiverse. Or perhaps just a hallucination. On the second night, Sam tries to talk to her mother again through the door, but gets scared and leaves. The next day, determined to find out what's behind the door, they decide to use a remote-controlled car as a guinea pig to see if it's safe to pass through. Realizing the other side is just a children's restaurant themed around pandas, they decide to enter. Chapter 4, Pandemonium. They place a statue to prevent the door from closing and enter the other dimension. Ash is fearful of the place, while Sam is more relaxed and wants to explore. They find a sign that, according to Ash, says, "Free hugs." Following the sign, they find a panda lying down. The panda gets up and starts attacking them with its panda tentacles.
What?
The filmmakers run back to their house, making sure to keep the door closed. On the third night, someone tries to open the door. Chapter 5, A Second Opinion. The girls visit Dr. Innes, a university professor with knowledge of interdimensional matters, to ask for his opinion on the door. He's impressed and shows the girls a video on subreddit similar to what they filmed. In Mexico in 1997, a person disappeared inside an abandoned building, and upon entering the building, they suddenly found themselves in a forest with balloons, where they were attacked. Ash asks questions like, is it the same door? A different one? Who makes these doors? The doctor says there's a theory circulating on forums that In the past, a civilization found a way to reach other planes of existence through meditation, altered states of being, drugs. There's a diagram suggesting that these practices were developed into a physical tool. The doors. The doctor calls them the wolf doors. People began worshipping the doors, even killing for them, believing they needed to sacrifice people to other dimensions to keep our world stable. Sam explains they are looking for Emily, the missing girl, but every time they open the door, it takes them somewhere else, so she asks for advice on how to find her. Chapter 6. Ideas. Innes goes to the girl's house. There, he asks Ash her favorite animal.
Humpback whales.
Innes pauses for a moment, thinking about humpback whales, and when they open the door, they enter a dimension where humpback whales are flying through the sky. Innes's theory was that if you can imagine it, it can exist. The girls and Innes celebrate, realizing they may have figured out how the door works. On the fourth night, Sam wants to try entering again, but fear holds her back. The door opens and closes on its own, and someone comes out. Ash screams, saying she saw a person inside the house. When they check, they realize it's Emily, who managed to escape from the door. The girls call Brian to come get Emily, while she explains that she was in a dark place with monsters. Brian arrives, but there's a problem. That's not Brian.
As Brian.
This person attacks them, throws Ash into the door, and leaves. Seriously, it was 4 against 1, and he won? Sam wants to search for Ash, so she asks Innes how to make the door take her where she wants to go.
You do what I did before. You picture in your head where you want to go. Picture Ash. Clearly, that'll get us there.
Innes goes to look for the fake Brian, while Emily accompanies Sam. Chapter 7. The Final Expedition. Upon opening the door, they find a place filled with wolf doors. Unsure of which to take, they open one. There they find the dog again. They open another and enter a dimension where they find a giant man. Emily tries, and they enter a dimension where they find another Emily, dying. Sam decides to leave her there when they hear sirens. As they run back to the door, they see a creature. Emily is unsettled, realizing there could be infinite Emilys dying in this way. Chapter 8. Existential Pain. Searching for the fake Brian, Innes goes to his apartment, where he finds a laptop with footage of the fake Brian attempting to contact an interdimensional god through a ritual. He succeeds and takes the door to the abandoned place where Emily disappeared. He was the one who pushed Emily through the door. He then followed Brian to his apartment to kidnap him. Innes hears the real Brian's screams coming from the basement. There, he finds him falling endlessly through portals, but they're not doors. They're chalk outlines in the shape of doors. Chapter 9. All Good Things. When Emily and Sam go to another dimension, the fake Brian emerges. Emily searches for Ash while Sam chases the guy. She enters a dimension of balloons, then another, and then another until reaching a dimension of furries. There, the guy creates a portal with chalk. Sam grabs the chalk and jumps into the portal. The fake Brian tries to kill Sam, but she draws a portal on a rock, from which tentacles emerge and attack him. Sam draws a portal to return to the beach. Sam enters another dimension to search for Emily, where she finds the girls before a creature can trap them. They return to the beach and meet Brian. Brian says they have a god on their side, seeking the world's purification, and that the girls ruined everything. He prays to his god, asking it to kill the girls, but it only kills him. The god destroys the doors. When they are about to return to their world, Sam decides to stay to find the world where her mother is still alive. When Ash opens the door again, it no longer leads anywhere. Epilogue. 7 months later. Ash tells us she hopes Sam is happy wherever she is. We realize that Ash took a small door from the beach. Ash, Innes, Brian, and Emily talk to the dog, who is the interdimensional god materializing as a dog. Ash reminds him that he once said it was a time of change and asks what kind of change he was talking about.
Are you ready?